Thank you for staying with us. So today on our hot topic, we want to discuss a matter of urgent public importance that we have raised on this show many times before. This matter has turned many into widows, widowers, and orphans. In some cases, it has wiped out entire families. It has left many disabled for the rest of their lives. Yet, it appears that the government is not willing to regulate these activities, perhaps because the operators are key drivers of our economy and among the biggest taxpayers. We are talking about how tankers and other articulated vehicles are needlessly causing calamities on our roads. Just on Sunday, 3 persons were reportedly killed in Auchi, Edo State, when 2 trucks, one belonging to Dangote Cement, another unidentified truck, and a GLK Mercedes-Benz were involved in an accident in front of the Omega Fire Ministry at about midday. This is one incident too many. The big question is this how we will continue? Join the conversation and call us on 0201-635-2013 or 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag Yourview on TVC, as well as stream live on YouTube at TVC Entertainment. Wow, so ladies, definitely this is a conversation that we've had so many times. I would say I've been on this show 7 years. We've discussed this conversation from the very first year I joined this show, and that's even taking away the many other years before I joined the show that this conversation has happened. Many accidents I have seen with these articulated vehicles, tankers falling on people, and then you hear silence. There was a time actually, the bridge close to barracks, like when you're going to Ojuelegba, I thought the government was building those what do you call them? Yes, those overhead
barricades.
Yes, barricades that stops like really high vehicles from going through. Because we used to have, on that particular bridge, you'll have those tankers get on the bridge and then fall over on commuters, human beings at the bottom of the bridge. And I thought, well, I saw that there, I thought they were doing that. And then silence. You'd even still see some of those structures still there, but nothing has been done to it. And it makes us wonder, why? Is it because they are owned by supposedly very influential people, really rich people? Are these people paying their way out of, this behavior? So that's what we'll be talking about today. And I would really like to hear your views and the way forward concerning this.
Very personal, because I lost an uncle. I'm from Auchi, everybody knows. I lost my uncle, my paternal uncle, my father's younger brother, on one of such accidents. He was parked with his bike in front of the Polytechnic, sorting out a bill, and this truck fails brake, rams into him, splashes his body everywhere. It was a very, very painful period for my late dad at the time, because he was his immediate younger brother. And when they picked the pieces of the body, to do the janaza, I remember how painful it was. What was even worse was that the younger brother to him was the one who pursued the compensation. I remember them calling me in Lagos and saying, we have to do a big litigation against the Dangote company, because it was a Dangote truck from Mokene that, rammed into him. And it was 150,000 that one said he received for compensation for the life of a father of 2, a husband of 2 as well, because his first wife couldn't have kids and he had to remarry to have his kids late into his 50s. And, so it was such a heartless period for me. I particularly remember hating them for, how, because my father was in mourning till he passed about that, his brother. He kept talking about it till he passed.
Nobody deserves
and it wasn't the first, it wasn't the second. When I went home in 2015 for my younger brother's wedding, I remember how bad the road was. The road to Auchi from Benin is terrible. When I went home in 2022 for my father-in-law's burial, I remember flying to Benin thinking it will reduce it was the journey to Auchi that worsened everything. It was a journey that shouldn't be up to an hour, was over 2 hours plus on bad roads. We're diverting into good roads. Some people will be advising you to come from Ondo. Imagine from Lagos all the way there to get to Auchi, when I could just do Benin Road and get home. A lot of those things, the roads are bad, but the trucks are reckless. They come in, as if there will be no consequence. And when they do it, the people think it's better to mob them because of the injustice that follows. So imagine every truck being mobbed and burnt, drivers also burnt. So to avoid it, regulation must take place. The state government in the past failed the people of Auchi on these truck killings. They will tell you when you get to Agbede, inwards the village like this, the roads, it's a hill up. When I saw it, I was like, and we have a sitting governor. I remember coming back to Lagos and just hating the governor for, for just failing, for just his inaction against the people, that this was a known fact. The people constantly, every day you travel that route from Kogi, people are constantly decrying the state of that road. And we had a governor, and it was not a national issue. He did not carry it to government. He did not do nothing. And so the road continued to cost people's lives. Sometimes these trucks fail brake. Drive right into the villages to people's houses and kill them on their sleeping beds. All sorts of horrifying stories. And so this happened again, and happened in front of the Apostle Suleiman's church. Of course, he made it a big issue. Fina, who is also from Edo State, has cried how this has happened to her relative also. So people are coming out now and talking, but I have an uncle of mine who was completely splashed, killed, murdered, and butchered by the truck, for just even parking and minding his business. Nobody saw that truck had failed. He was coming and they were thinking he would be on the road, and they were minding their business. And he went into my uncle and he killed my late uncle.
Abigail, have you had any experience?
Well, not personally, but I saw something online the other day. One of, not Dangote, by the way, another truck driver who I think he hit somebody, and another car was trying to stop him, and then he went brushing almost 3-4 cars until when he saw that he couldn't escape again, he ran out of the truck and they almost lynched him, if not for passers-by who said they should save him. So uneasy lies the head, and when you have a business like this, there's now a conglomerate, you can only wish and also hope that you have partners or staff who align with your dream. I'm saying this because I have a company and I know how it is with managing staff, especially human management. Most of the time, right in front of you, what they do on the road is not what you see, because they will act all good in front of you, and then when they're on the road, they act differently like monsters. Now, for the transport business, it's usually very difficult. Anybody who is in the transport business will tell you that getting good riders, good drivers is Herculean, because a lot of persons don't care. They smoke. Most of the time, they're overused because they set targets and they have to meet up with those targets, irrespective of whether you're sound or good enough for the stuff. So I know that most of those drivers, they have this, and somebody said something online. They said, if Dangote is meant to pay $30,000 for every life lost, he will sit up when he's recruiting. Now, we shouldn't forget that Dangote has managers, he has supervisors, regional heads, and all that. I think those people should be made to actually pay, because most of the time they are the ones who recruit those guys, and they are the ones who are closer to these drivers. So because of the lack of good drivers, most of these companies just try to manage what they have. Okay, we'll just keep managing them, I saw one other car that it was supposed to be 18 tires, and the car was running on 16 tires and all that on the road. Now, let's bring it back to our officers on the road who are paid to do this.
Abigail, let me just cut you there so that Ramatu can just, speak maybe of any experience. That the logistics business part is actually an angle that I would like for us to really look into. Ramatu.
Okay, so I like the part where she was going to the FRSC. I think the FRSC needs to, FRSC need to sit up and do their jobs properly, because most of these tanker drivers they are young people. I don't think they went to school, because most of the time when you're recruiting drivers, you just tell them, bring your driver's license. They come, and then when you ask them, have you, they tell you that that was Okada that they were driving before. And then how do you know how to drive a car? They just tell you that, okay, they went to driving school and that's it, So you can imagine one now told me that he can drive trailer. So you can imagine the number of people that maybe once they stop driving this Okada, most times Dangote will recruit them, they will bring them no training, nothing, and then they just hand them the truck for them to move in around. It's not only Dangote, almost all these tippers carrying sand, water tanker, the one that is annoying me is this water tanker. They'll be moving, water will be pouring on the road, they drive anyhow, they switch lanes at any point, anytime they feel like. There was an incident that happened around Ikota. It was a tipper. You know, there's this girl that was hawking, she was hawking this pier. The next thing, the truck just went, you know, it was coming backwards, it hit her. And once, you know, it hit her, he didn't see her at the back. So he hit her and then she, you know, he now used the tire just on her head. And her head just burst like that. You could see the sister came, stood close to her, was crying. In fact, even me too, when I saw it, I was... Once you pass in front, you have no choice, but you just feel it. You feel that pain, you know. So these people, they have been committing all of these atrocities for a very, very long time. And it's good that now people are coming out to say all of these things and saying that everybody we should look into it and make sure that, you know. Yeah. And again, you know, there are all these new roads that they construct. They'll tell all these trailers, don't pass. They'll even put barriers up so that they don't pass. You still see some trailers. Right. You see some trucks. You see them passing on it. So and then there are times that when they are passing, because it's slopey, you know, some of the trucks is slope. You see them when they are going. There was a time I was going home. It was one time something like that happened. The truck started going backwards. It started coming down. Cars started reversing.
So that makes Nima's point.
Yes,
many
so
of the cars are bad.
Yeah.
So I have a personal story I would like to share when we come back from this short commercial break.
Stay tuned. Yourview will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. Remember, you can join the conversation by calling us on 0201 635 2013, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourviewTVC, and you can stream on YouTube at TVC Entertainment. So, you know, we're just talking earlier about, you know, I really wanted us to explore the human angle part of this story, because when incidents like this happen, families are forever affected. You know, as we said in the intro, we had said widows, widowers, whole families. And I remember not too long ago, I was coming from my in-laws' house. We were right behind a big truck in Apapa, and I saw this with my very eyes. You know, that thing is forever ingrained in my memory. This truck, we got to a junction where you either go left or right, but it just kept heading straight to this group of people who were selling by the roadside. And I was just thinking, these people had come out of their homes that day. They were doing business like they would normally do. They had no inkling that this was going to happen to them. And this man rams into them. The person, he jumps out. What do I see? A little boy. Because it's a small boy. And I'm like, who gave this person this sort of huge responsibility? And I see a lot of people, you know, a lot of the drivers like that. If you tend to look through, you know, their windows, either they are really young or they're not paying attention. So I know that I've heard that they ask the younger ones to drive sometimes when the main driver is tired or at the weekends as a way of training. But at what cost? It makes no sense. So for me, I would like to, you know, definitely our heart goes out to families that have been affected. But I want to know, when it happens to a family, how do you get redress? Because I know what it means for us to just say, sorry, you know, we forgive you, you did not mean it. Like, I really want to know how we get redress. Fina's case was such a huge case because Fina has some clout, some following, and she used her platform. Not everybody has that. So are there any ways that a regular Nigerian, where do you go when you have this to also make sure that you get proper compensation?
I don't think there's a place to go, because what I found out was that they had an office in Edo, in Auchi particularly, where my late uncle also went for the redress of his elder brother, and he was given 150,000. He signed a consent form, and that was it. Well, by the time I wanted to step in with litigation, it was too late. He had signed a consent for non-litigation and received the check of 150,000, which he didn't even disclose to us until it was too late also. And so that yes, that was a restrictive consent he had signed to not pursue any other form of redress, you know, on behalf of his late brother. So that restricted us. But ordinarily, if this happens and you do not go and pursue that, you can pursue, you know, other compensatory points through litigation, you know, or even mediation. But 150 should not, you know, be the amount that somebody takes for that kind of thing.
Sorry, are you there? Yes, so we have a call from Idowu, from Ibejuleki. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Idowu.
Yes, belated happy birthday to you, Mima.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
Mima is
I
still
couldn't
getting
call
birthday
in last week.
messages.
Sorry.
Thank you.
All right, so I wanted to say, you see, anything that has to do with safety is a very serious thing. That's number one. Number two is that data don't lie. There's a class of driver's license that is attached to that kind of thing.
Okay.
FRC to pull out the data and tell us how many licensed people we have in Nigeria. That's number one. I mean, number two. Number three is that we also have a bureau that investigates accidents. So we should leave the job to them, and they should also give us the incident reports after the hearing. And I think we need collaboration between FRC and the NSIB, the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, right? So this is just my own take this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, though, because a lot of us really needed to know, you know, what those agencies are. And here we have some of the agencies.
I wanted to read that out. Yes, the Federal Ministry of Transportation, the State Ministry of Transportation, Federal Road Safety Corps, Vehicle Inspection Service of each of these states, the transportation agencies in each of these states, and Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, the Truck Drivers Association of Nigeria. So these bodies on this side, I like the colors side. So those are the bodies who investigate the accident, cause of accident, and maybe any form of value the right compensation that should go to them in cause of death. Because I don't think any of these dead people consented to any form of you know, the kind of accident that took their lives. But I would like to explore that side. But these regulatory bodies, now before I even go into them, Dangote or any of these companies in Abigail's business who have to do transportation of goods should, number one, have proper training for their drivers. Because I know that, you know, a lot of things are involved in driving. For those of us who even drive cars, we suffer fatigue sometimes behind the wheel. And when you cause an accident like that, there should be implication. We're talking to Mo about an accident and insisting that she must pursue this matter because, you know, this was even a road rage incident. There are some of those cases where somebody can't be in the right frame mentally, carries his stress into the road and takes a life. And so those kind of training, they must, as a company, be involved in it. You cannot just say you have the trucks and you leave one body or one head of department to handle it. If it is not possible for that one body to be effective and you get this, go on and take your call.
I would like to also get back to Abigail when I get back, because this logistics business, we need to question you people. We have a call from Abuja. Mira, are you there?
Hi, good morning, Mariah. Good morning, ladies.
Miriam.
Good morning.
Okay, so my take is this. The thing is, where there is no law, there's that saying that where there's no law, there's no sin. The problem is the lack of consequences and action, you know, thereafter. So if there's no regulation and the government doesn't make specific or particular efforts to curb this, it's going to be business as usual. The only thing it's just going to be a cycle that keeps repeating itself, jungle justice, you know, whatever. There has to be something, they have to put their foot on the ground and say, you know what, we're going to take this thing seriously. There are going to be consequences for these actions. So I just feel without these consequences, it's going to be business as usual. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah, thank you, Mira, and that's what we're trying to find solutions. But Abigail is into the logistics business. She has drivers, you know, and you know, you compared to a Dangote, you're a small business, and sometimes people may say it's because it's Dangote and people think he has billions that we keep using his name and asking for compensation at that time. Smaller businesses to find themselves in this situation. What steps are you taking as a small business, or all the smaller businesses here in Nigeria? What steps do they take to protect their business? Because I know Abigail. I know she's a upright citizen. But as she said, what happens when her people are on the road? So, what sort of business contracts do you have with your riders that protects you, or that also makes you culpable when incidents like this happen?
Okay, so because you're not totally in control of what happens on the road, sometimes your vehicle, your bikes can be in total shape and then something just happens. The tire can burst, anything can happen. So you're not in total control of what happens to your vehicle. Even with the cars we drive, we know that all these unfortunate incidents happen. But when it's now caused by the person doing the riding, for instance, my riders, I tell them, whatever cost you go out and incur, I will investigate. And when I investigate, I find the fault that is coming from you, I charge you for it. For one of those days, my riders hit a Hilux headlight, I think the backlight, and broke the light. So unfortunately, the person driving the Hilux was a policeman, and one of those Hilux that Sanwo-Olu just gave to some police officers. That Hilux light cost me 50,000.
Wow.
And then I was now questioning him. He was trying to blame the driver. And I told him, if you were not speeding, when he held his brake, you would not hit him. And the position of that damage shows that you were wrong. They held my bike for 2 days, but I bought the Hilux, replaced it, but I charged him for it. He paid for it. Another one, he damaged a customer's package. He paid for it. So most of the time, when I charge them like that, for him to do anything, he would think, okay, there are consequences for this stuff. I was going to say that those days when you'll be driving, you used to see at the back of cars, how is my driving? Call You still see now? Okay.
Call one number before no go.
I actually like that. And there's this incident. There was
how do you employ them? What's the process of employing drivers like this?
So experiences most of the time. They already have like recommendations. They've worked for so like one of the riders I got, somebody knew him. I went, investigated where he was staying. In fact, when I almost employed, and then I told him to give me the contact of his former employer. He gave me the contact, went back to the employer and said, please help me speak good for me. And then I sent someone to go and meet the employer. The employer said, I cannot lie to you. This guy, if you have strength for problems, you can get him.
Wow.
So I do my investigation before.
Okay, thank you, Abigail. So we're going on another commercial break. Once we're back, Ramoto, I'll take your opinion. See ya.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us and welcome back. Ramoto.
Yeah, okay, so I wanted to say that when that thing happened, when that truck, killed that girl, the first thing that happened was the community. The community came together, they got the driver and reprimanded him, and then they asked him to pay some money, and guess how much he paid? He paid only 30,000. Depending on that level, and also, and we can't totally be saying that people should come and pay. No amount of money will bring that person back because the person is dead and gone. We can just put measures to prevent all of these things from happening. Number one, if we can, because most of these drivers, I know a lot of them, if there's going to be more cameras on the road to see all of these things, and like there was a time we had a guest on the show that used AI or something. That guy that came on the show one time, he said something on how they can regulate the trucks, yes, and everything before from moving. Then another thing is, before every driver, before they move, they should evaluate them. He says that check, because a lot of them always take alcohol. I've seen a truck, these long buses before. One time we were coming to Lagos from school, wanted to just join those long, luxurious buses. And then, we saw the driver drinking heavily. We're like, why is he drinking alcohol? And he said, you charge, you drive very well, you do so that you'll be able to see throughout the night, because it was a night journey. That's so that he doesn't slip off on the steering. And so you can imagine somebody who is heavily drunk, you know, and when we entered the vehicle, if you need to see the way he was driving, he was driving recklessly, he was very fast, and you know, taking lives and everything. And then another thing is,
just before you go, just thank you for that. That's very important point of alcohol use. But we have a caller right now, Niniola from Abuja, who would like to contribute. Hello.
Yeah,
Niniola.
good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Titi Lola, please.
Oh, Titi Lola. So sorry about that.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, about the topic this morning, it's a very, very sensitive one. It's something it has happened to a family of mine too, that was crushed with a truck. And I find 3 factors affecting this whole issue. You find out that most times these trucks, they are not well maintained. They cut corners for repairs and everything. And I'm also aware most times when they are fully loaded, their brakes fail most times. And most of them, they end up speeding. So due to the over speeding, their brakes fail and they're unable to control it. The second thing is that most of them, they are not licensed drivers. We're in this country, I know for a fact that you can cut corners to just get a driver's license. You don't really need to go to a proper driving school. And I also know that driving a truck requires a special type of training. It's not just you driving a car or something. It requires a special type. But in this country, you find out that you can get a driver's license anyhow. Then the third factor is that we have bad roads. So I find these 3 factors very. Now the government cannot really do much because it's like they've not provided the necessary tools for the business to thrive on properly. So it's a dog-eat-dog world. They just do whatever they want, and then the trucks too, they do whatever they want because they will complain it's the bad road. And of course, the government is also going to complain, oh, they have bad drivers, they have bad trucks. The major solution here is that we're not supposed to have the quantity of trucks we have on the road. We're not supposed to have it. It's supposed to be done by train. Yes. Trains are supposed to be the one carrying all this stuff all across the country and to each state. But we find out that we have a lot of trucks and we have business millionaires. They are the ones into all this business, this truck, whatever. So eventually, they are not going to do the right thing in this country because most of them, they are actually politicians and influential people. They are the owners of all this truck. So you find out all this sort of injustice done to humans. I mean, it's so unfortunate, but well, that's my contribution this morning. Thanks a lot. Miriam, you're doing so well.
Thank you, Titi Lola.
Happy birthday to Nima. Happy birthday to Nima. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Titi Lola. I really love her contribution, especially about the drivers. Like, is there a school where people who want to be tanker drivers go? There should be something like that.
There should be a special licensing for the purpose of those. So there should be a special, form of licensing for them that will be indicated on their driver's license. If you're found behind a truck without that form of license, you should be arrested. Because if you see those our interstate roads, there are hills and valleys and all of that. Imagine that somebody does not have the sense of, long vehicles have a different type of driving. Even when they drive small vehicle, they do mistakes. So imagine you're on a long vehicle and you're taking a bend, you don't know how to reverse properly, you don't have special skills on braking, on reversing, on turning, and you will miss a lot of blind spots. My driver, whenever I would drive, he will climb something. Siam, I said, madam, I said, it requires a skill. So when you know you're approaching something that is curvy, you know how to go. Give it a particular distance. I tell him all the time on how to turn. And even me, I remember when I started driving, I used to have that same problem. I continue to learn how to avoid it so that I don't destroy my car. So imagine somebody behind a long vehicle, he doesn't even know how to deal with fatigue. When you're fatigued, you yourself will know. It's not check where you will use. I know they're dirty for anything. Nothing they sharpen eye. The only solution to fatigue is to take a break. You should learn to take a break. You should have a qualified driver if you must hand over to someone. If not, take a break.
Thank you, Ramatu. You were saying
I think that there should be bodies that should watch over all these vehicles overnight as well, because you know, like the ones going to Dangote, since Dangote refinery opened on that our axis now, we always have trucks coming, lots of them. So they have a specific time. I noticed between from 7 down to 9, you see them on the road. But I noticed one thing. We need to have our FRSC people around even overnight. Not that they should just be around just daytime. Because I noticed that some of them don't have that backlight. And you know it's in the night. Sometimes some of these tankers, they bring up all these black fumes, this very black one. And then when it comes, it covers the whole road. If you don't have good lights, you won't see them because their backlight is off. So all those fumes that come out, they blind you, you won't see it, and I've seen a lot of accidents happen that way.
Yeah, talking about Dangote, he's bringing in CNG trucks.
Yeah, I was going to
say. And I'm in thousands, and I'm wondering, where are we getting these drivers? Are they going to import the drivers to us? Is it these same drivers? And that is why I was saying, do we have a licensed place or school where we can just get these drivers
when they get
fully trained?
When Dangote's, there was somebody who represented Dangote on the show. I think I was privileged to be here that day, and we asked this question, and he said they're going through processes of acquiring a certification, and they've been trained. That's what he said on the show. So let's just believe that it's the truth. It's not just
belief.
But I was going to say something. That caller took it out from my mouth. Most of those trucks are owned by prominent Nigerians, and we know how it is with Nigeria. Once there's money, it's hard for you to get justice between a poor man and a rich man. It's hard for the poor to always get justice. It's not like we sit down here and insinuate. It's what we've seen over time. So who will now pursue the case if, like, say now this Dangote truck that kills a poor man that nobody knows, that barely feeds, that has not even seen 20,000 in a month. So who will now go? Who will be the lawyer for those people? Who will hear them? Where do they go? Most of the time, their knowledge of who to go to and how to pursue their case is limited because they don't know who to talk to. So I think that the system too doesn't help, because the system does not give a soft landing for the poor man, not just in this case, but in other cases where the poor man has to fight for his right or to be heard or to be someone. Most times they're always victimized. It's not a good thing. It's something we'll have to look at. I love the fact that we have said that most of those trucks, we should also make sure we do periodic checks and then the drivers. But that's a suggestion I would like to get. I don't know if any of these our officers have breathalyzers, easy breathalyzers with them, because I think that there should be stops at every kilometers. If you move from here, point 1 to come down, park your car, you would compulsorily, there should be lay-by, you park your truck, they check you, both the driver, whether you're fatigued, you smoked, you drink. I think you do it from road to road to road. Like, we have checkpoints everywhere, police and soldiers and all that. If we now go the extra mile to say, okay, let's even test these drivers and see if they are fit for this stuff.
You know, sorry to cut you, what I also realized that because their vehicles are quite high, the personnel on the ground, the traffic personnel, don't stop to check them because it will mean stopping and having to come down to check. So I feel that they just let them go.
So that's why I said we have lay-bys.
Yes.
We can have points if we want to solve this issue. We can have points built especially for this, and then once you get to that point, every truck owner should always tell their staff to abide by it. When you get to that point, you must stop for inspection. It's just that when you see roadblock, you can't ram into the roadblock. Once you stop, they check you, and if you're not fit, they hold you and your vehicle at that time. By the time they impound maybe 3 or 4 of your vehicles a day, and then you now take it seriously to know the kind of people or how to handle your stuff. That's just what I want to say right now.
So we have a call. Shiloh from Lekki. Shiloh?
Ma?
You're on.
Okay. So, I think about that tankers that is the bad road that caused it. Because if there's no bad roads, the tankers will not, it's not be falling.
Okay, thank you, Shiloh. I'm trying to guess Shiloh's age, but very important point that she has made.
Yeah.
But we'll be going on another commercial break, and we will be right back. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. Abigail?
Yeah, I was going to land with the point that in as much as we Nigerians will try to survive amidst harsh economic situation, amidst different challenges we meet as business owners, because I can tell you it's really not easy running businesses in Nigeria, because you have to do almost everything for yourself. Now, most of the time they want you to get roadworthiness for your vehicles, but most of the time, do they ask themselves, are the roads worthy enough for vehicles? Because, let me take for instance, like I just bought, somebody said you're talking about logistics, you're calling bike and truck. It's still riders, we have to do with drivers, so we are talking about that.
Drivers.
So most of the time, I changed my tire some time ago, and then the next day it picked nail because of the pothole. And then I started patching and patching and patching until I had to change not long ago. So these things you have to deal with all the time. Every business owner wants to make money. So I think government should be more people friendly. We know they are trying, and most of these projects are capital intensive, but then they can be more listening and discerning to the plights of road users, because when Delta Monarchs came, was it last 2 weeks or so, they came and implored, they were begging the government to come and fix the road, that the road is very deplorable, that the places in South-South, the roads around South-South is very damaged. Now, if the roads were okay, someone like Dangote and his drivers will not use the road as an excuse because it's in good shape. For instance, now if I change my 10 tires or 20 tires because I'm plying this road in 1 week, before I will gather the money that I have used to change that tire, it will take me time. And most of the time, maybe you're surviving, businesses are surviving on oxygens. And if they don't have these interventions, do your own, make I do my own. Do your part, make I do my part, so that people will be safe. So both government, business owners, they should try and meet at a middle ground.
Abigail, so we once had the controller of Lagos Federal Road Safety Commission on the show. Then it was of Saumeje, and he was a friend of the house. And I remember asking him whether there was a body, stationed at the port. That, once trucks are loaded, they will check a vehicle, they will inspect the vehicle for quality assurance purposes. They will check loading balance of the vehicle, and talk to them on this, defensive driving. The way truck, they face smoker.
Yes.
As if so now offend them. Come to GMT in my neighborhood. The trucks, once they come out of there and they are loading, they'll be on the wrong side of the road. And you as a small driver, you are supposed to start reversing, running away from them. Can somebody train them that you have the load and you run a risk of murder? Can you just, let these small drivers get out of the road as opposed to terrorizing them on the road?
It obviously shows a lack of
training. When we
training.
asked him that question, he said, yes, there's supposed to be a check.
Human meanness and wickedness.
It was post an $10 fire that we were asking this question, because this particular tanker driver, a big truck, detached from the head of the car and caused a huge accident on the $10 bridge. And post it, we brought the road safety controller then on the show. And it was sad to see that, till date, there is no particular such body at the port. Go to Dangote company where they are loading these things and taking to other places. Where are those bodies? Shouldn't the road safety have a department there and stop parlaying and doing paddy because we're talking big men? We're talking small businesses. You will see them, all this your bike, go and see, they ask them. They're always holding them, local government, whatever, they'll be holding them.
On the road,
nobody, they stop those big trucks. Especially when he has the logo of his name, he has immunity. And so such nonsense should be stopped. National Association of Truck Drivers, as a body, what are they doing to ensure that only members of quality trucks are in their association, so that we know the people we are picking? The rubbish trucks, you see one truck with one leg. Videos, all refined videos are online of truck drivers traveling interstate with as opposed to having quality tires, having one tire default. Managing on one tire, go to Ogbomoso, those trucks that stop at Ogbomoso and coming out. You see nonsense. Why will you even be bringing blinding smoke out of a truck.
Honestly.
So we'll be concluding on it. I would like
so let me just
Ramatu to
add this. So another thing again is we ourselves too, we that drive on the road and everything. I've seen several times. I've seen a lot of people who drag road with all these big cars. You know that these trailers, they are big, they are there. The driver is not even looking at you that are at the back.
Might not even see you.
Yeah, it doesn't. He's not seeing you, but you'll be there at the back. Say, what kind of drive? Why is he driving the way he's driving? Then you'll be trying to, maneuver or to switch lane with him, and then something happens, and you are at the back because you are the one that will suffer the whatever happens, you are the one going to suffer it because he is in front. The driver is in front. You just come down, just come and tell you sorry, and then move on. And then the speed, we should have speed limits. The tankers, trailers on the road should have speed limit. If you see the way, since they fixed that road, that's our Shango-Tedo road, we thank the government for that. If you see the way people speed, Nigeria, if you see most people who have all these Mercedes, Benzi, if you see the way they used to speed, they will just go, and then you see them the way they overtake trailers, they overtake, sometimes they will not even allow the trailer to balance on the lane that where that he wants to be on. You see them, they are looking for how to do small space like you see them, you just pass, and before you know it, trailer. So all I would just say is that we too, we have a responsibility on our own selves too. We should try as much as possible. In fact, if you can avoid them when you see them on the road, like me, I always try as much as possible to avoid them, like wait for them, patient, do this, do that on the road before I now overtake or anything.
Ramatu, thank you. I just wrote in my book, driving etiquette. There has to be, you need to be able to drive. My husband always says, drive as if everybody else is mad. So you protect yourself. But I remember that there used to be a ban on these articulated vehicles where during the day they were not allowed to move. But that ban seems to have evaporated. Okay, well, just for a short period of time.
During that construction work happening on the road.
Thank you, ladies.
These accidents even happen. Even there's one that happened at 4 a.m. It happens early morning too. But I was going to say something. Most of these companies, the big ones, they don't have just one driver. They have driver and assistant driver. So when he's fatigued or tired, the next person takes over. I don't know if they can inculcate that in every other.
They don't have a motorboy that they get.
I know a company. Very known company. They have a driver and there's an assistant driver on the same bus. So when you're tired, the next person takes over.
All right, ladies, we have to conclude on this particular topic. But first of all, before we go, I would just like to say we have learned quite a few things. Lay-by checks. I like that idea. We need to find where they stop. We need to make sure that we have our personnel on ground, traffic personnel on ground, to just make sure the cars are working, the human beings are not drunk, before they go off. Then we need to evaluate the drivers at the parks. I think that's the same as lay-by. Then we had a caller who talked about safer infrastructure. Instead of having so many trucks on the road, we should have rail lines. And then Nigerians, when they build these rail lines, it's not for you to go and be digging it out and selling the things, Then we need to introduce breathalyzers. We don't do that. It's not enough to just say you can smell someone. They drink these things and they eat something else to cover their breath. And of course, road safety. You cannot just be on the part of the road where you see clean cars. You need to enter all those spaces where you would find most of them and make sure that you do a proper check on these drivers. And government, I feel that government and these very influential owners of these trucks can come together and invest in better roads and railway infrastructure. Thank you, ladies, for this conversation. We'll be going on a short break and we'll be back to discuss our second topic. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.